Hey there, beautiful people. This is Lindy Ford, registered dietitian, licensed nutritionist, and nutrition detective. So last week we talked about some of my favorite things, all-time favorite things that I like to keep around all the time for better health. Well, actually that list was not very exhaustive. So I'm probably going to do this once every 2 weeks or so and try to get through a lot of the things that help me to get healthy and to help me have optimal wellness. And I want that for you as well. Some of these things are not going to always be appropriate for you, but I do think that they're going to help. So we're just going to call this Lindy's Legs. So today for Lindy's Legs, I actually only have 4 things. And the reason I only have 4 things is because there's a couple of them I really want to spend some time on and I want to talk about because they're like my all-time favorite things. Like they're way up there on the list. So I want to talk more about those. And the very first thing I want to talk about is something you might not have thought about. A lot of my patients think that I'm going to give them excellent points if they come in and tell me that they're eating fresh vegetables. And yes, fresh vegetables are wonderful, especially if you're getting them from a farmer's market or some kind of a local farm, right? But most of our vegetables, unfortunately, are being shipped across country, and many of them are ethylene gassed so that they don't ripen right away. And it's just not, they're not as fresh and as nutrient dense as we would think they would be. But what is so cool is I love organic frozen vegetables. I think every single grocery store has them. If your grocery store doesn't have them, you need to find another grocery store. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, most grocery stores have their own brand of organic frozen vegetables. This actually comes from Publix. These are green beans. Let me show them to you. Okay. Then there's cut leaf spinach and there's cauliflower florets. You can also get broccoli florets and a bunch of edamame and a bunch of different kinds of vegetables. So what's so good about these guys is that they're picked at their peak of ripeness, and they're flash frozen. So a lot of the nutrition is staying in the product. And so you may, in some cases, in some instances, you may be getting a better product and a more nutritious product than something that is fresh. Does that make sense? And they're so stinking easy. I can't, almost every single night I have something like this for dinner because you know me, I need it to be easy. And I just need to get in and cook dinner and get out of that kitchen because I don't like spending a whole lot of time in the kitchen. And so it's really great to have these frozen vegetables, put a little grass-fed butter on them, saute them in some broth, and they taste great and the family doesn't know the difference. So it's a good thing. So the second thing is coconut oil. I know that there's been a lot of hype about coconut oil. And to be honest with you, I don't have a certain brand that I use, but I use coconut oil pretty much every day. And I want to tell you why. This one is actually from Vitacost, but I've used tons of different brands. I actually like organic cold pressed the best. Organic cold pressed. But let me tell you about coconut oil. So it is one of those dreaded saturated fats, those really, really bad fats that we have been told for years not to eat. So you need to just forget about that because it's not true. They're actually really, some of them are really good for us. And especially with coconut oil because it has other properties that are amazing. So it's a medium chain triglyceride. And I know when I was working in a hospital, we used the medium chain triglycerides or coconut oil for a lot of our patients who had GI issues because they had a really hard time metabolizing other fats. But this is an easy one for the GI system. So I would say anybody with GI issues, you need to be doing coconut oil almost every day. It's also an antibacterial, antiviral, so it helps with the candida and yeast. It helps to balance hormones. It balances our blood sugars. So that's a really, really important piece of this. So it's very low glycemic and helps to balance blood sugars. And I can tell you 70% of us, maybe even higher, have blood sugar issues. And a lot of us don't even know it. So the other thing that it does, and there's some good studies out that are pointing in this direction, is that it burns fat and gives us more energy. It also helps with neurological conditions like Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease. So there's some pretty convincing studies about that. So I have a lot of people doing coconut oil, and I think that this would be great to have in your kitchen. I think everybody should have it. So how do I use it? Well, to be honest with you, I don't use it in cooking because my husband doesn't love it in his green beans or his broccoli or whatever. So I don't use it really with my vegetables. But what I do is I put it in my coffee in the morning. So I supercharge my coffee that way. And I also put it in my smoothies. So you can get it in, you can, I mean, I have some people just eating it whole. They really like it. But it is coconut oil. It tastes like coconut. So if you don't love coconut, you're going to have to put it in a smoothie to kind of mask that taste. So the third thing that I love, and I have had in my kitchen forever and ever and ever, is something called almond flour. So a lot of you have heard about almond flour, but I can tell you that this is an amazing flour. I have here Bob's Red Mill. That's probably the most popular one, the one that I use the most often. Let me show it to you. And then I also have Trader Joe's brand. And Trader Joe's brand is just a little coarser and uses a lot of the skin of the almond, right? But I love both brands, and this one's just fine. The super fine one, you can do, it's more versatile, so you can do a lot of things with it. Again, almonds in and of themselves lower blood sugar. They're very low glycemic. This is a gluten-free flour. Now I gotta tell you, gotta be honest with you, this doesn't have the same properties as your wheat flour. So you can't just do that substitution one-on-one. You've got to get some good recipes with different ingredients. So you're not going to be making bread. You're not going to be making the same type of bread, like a yeast bread, that you would with a gluten flour. It's just not going to happen. But there's all kinds of tricks out there. And the other thing that I love to do with almond flour is I put it in like salmon cakes. I use it as a binder, I guess you'd say, right? And I have a great recipe for salmon cakes on my website, so go look that up. But anyway, it's tons of fiber. It helps your hunger. So I saw one study the other day that said if you eat almonds 20 minutes before a meal, you're less hungry and you won't eat as much. It also lowers blood pressure, lowers lipids, has high magnesium and vitamin E. So many good things about almond flour. So the last product that I want to show you that's probably always in my kitchen, actually we ate it tonight in some tacos, is grass-fed beef. Okay, and I just love grass-fed beef for so many reasons. Let me show you this one. I don't even know where I got it. I got it at Publix. That's where I got it. And it was $8.99 per pound. I have seen it cheaper, and then I've actually gotten it cheaper from like local farms or on sale. Let me show it to you. Some of it's organic, some of it's not, but these are cows that are allowed to be cows. Okay, they are actually allowed to eat the foods that I believe their creator has meant them to eat. And it's not corn and it's not soy, it's grass. And that makes a different animal. Now I don't want to offend any of my vegans or vegetarians out there. I respect them sincerely, and you can really be very healthy eating a vegan or a vegetarian diet. But I'm going to tell you something. I remember when I was at University of Maryland College Park, I remember us testing our blood in one of the labs. And of all the people in the classroom, I think most of us girls were like under 30 years old. All of us were iron deficient, like every single one. The guys in the class, none of them. So we have that issue, especially if you're of childbearing years, that you're going to be iron deficient. And it's really important to get your ferritin levels checked. Again, with grass-fed beef, it's a different animal than conventional beef, which is really different. It has more omega-3s, which we all need more of. It also has more of something called conjugated linoleic acid. It has actually 20 times more, which helps you with weight loss and actually is really heart protective. So you see, it's not the same as regular beef. And I believe if you just spend a little extra money on grass-fed beef, it's going to be better for you. It's going to be healthier. You can eat a steak now and then. it's a good thing. So thank you so much for watching this video today. And I am brand new to YouTube, so if you could subscribe to this channel, that would be wonderful, glorious. And also, if you could like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. And just remember that everybody deserves to be optimally healthy. Thank you.